Welcome once again, and thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Transforming Lives One at a Time. I am your host, Dianne, of course, always happy to be in your space. Today we will be discussing autism, clearing up myths and misconceptions about it, and providing that much needed clarification and, of course, information on how it affects individuals. My guests today are Vice Chairman of the Autism Tobago, Paria, and Valeene Salino Canaan, Chairman of Autism Tobago. Ria and Valeene, welcome to Transforming Lives One at a Time.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Yes. Well, we want to be able to provide a better understanding. Many times we would hear about autism, we would hear little things here and there, but the purpose of this program is to provide clarity and just get persons on board with the information, clear up any kind of misconceptions that we have about autism. So in laying a proper foundation, let's firstly understand what is autism and how it affects the individual. I could start with you.
Okay. Good morning again. Well, autism is a lifelong neurodevelopmental condition. So it's a neurological disorder that affects how a person perceives the world, how they respond to various stimuli in the world, how they interact with persons. It is also on a spectrum. So that means that there's a wide range of strengths and challenges that a person may experience. Each person that you meet with autism is unique. Okay. So they have their own unique combination of traits, strengths, and challenges.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That is, and it also is diagnosed in the first 3 years of life.
Oh, and first 3 years?
Yes, you observe the signs and the symptoms during those developmental stages. Because as she said, it's neurodevelopmental, so you will observe it through the development of the child. And like, they're not speaking, certain things you observe as they are growing. Okay. And even in terms of diagnosing it, you have to have a lot of persons coming in as well to observe the child.
Wow, okay. So what are some of the ways autism affects a child's general behavioral pattern?
Well, okay, so persons with autism tend to have a predisposition to certain traits. They may have an affinity to hand flapping or tiptoeing, spinning around. They may be minimally verbal to completely nonverbal. Some of them have normal progression with the speech. Okay. You'll tend to see a delay in reaching certain milestones for certain persons. You talk about minimal to no eye contact. Sometimes you may think the child is not hearing you, but that's not the case. Actually, part of getting assessed for autism is having a hearing test done in those very early stages to eliminate if it's a hearing problem or not.
And if the child is just ignoring you.
Or if, as we usually think, the child is just ignoring us and doing their own thing. Yes. Some persons tend to be physically strong, like 5 years old, and you would think it's a teenager that you're dealing with sometimes, the way they're strong. They have limited or no idea of fear or a sense of danger.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, they are naive to that.
Yes, we could say naive, somewhat naive to danger. Food aversions to physical touch and interaction, sensitivities to light, textures, sound, the texture of food, the texture of clothing or the tags in clothing. My son himself, he doesn't like long sleeves or long pants.
Wow.
So, and this is a recent development. So, going into a formal setting, he's most likely going to look like a Bermudan short pants kind of thing, because he doesn't want anything long on him. Insomnia. So they tend to have sleep challenges as well. Up to this morning, I was up at 3 a.m.
Wow.
waiting on this young man to fall asleep. Uncontrollable laughter, uncontrollable crying, hyperactivity, or they may be extremely mellow.
Mellow, yep.
Okay, calm.
So, just calm.
Not disturbed.
They have a preference to routine and schedules, so much so that like the most minute change in the routine is unmanageable.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, they thrive very well on understanding what's happening first, what's happening next.
Okay.
You know, because how their brain processes things and how they focus on whatever they have to focus on in their space. You know, those routines are important to them. And sometimes in the family, when they have other siblings and so on, having everyone on board, even teachers or caregivers on board from that specific particular trait that they do have, it could be for good, it could be for bad. Sometimes them being that routine and being attached to particular objects, or not having that imaginary side of play.
Yes.
So they might be rocking a truck to sleep or might be driving a dolly, you know, so that imaginary side.
Yes.
And it's not that, you know, their symptoms will disappear as they grow, because an autistic person is autistic until they become an adult. Yeah. Sometimes they hear autism, people only think it's children. Yeah. And then when they get big, they're no longer autistic. Okay. My son is soon to be 18, and there's a time when he does stuff that reminds me, hey, I am still autistic, you know. Right. Even though I wouldn't say grew out of some of his earlier symptoms, but because we worked with him in certain things in speech, or we worked with him in certain things, that he was able to get the supports needed to be able to manage some of those responses and to be able to learn new skills to help him to be able to navigate those little challenges he had in the beginning. So those are minimal, but no, he still has other challenges.
Right. Because I felt it very necessary to bring you on set to talk about this, because, you know, sometimes persons can be so judgmental. We live in a society, we have to admit, we are very judgmental. And sometimes a child who is autistic may be behaving in certain ways, and because you don't understand what is taking place, you're quick to judge, you're quick to say, but these parents don't train these children. And you know, tell us about that aspect.
You know, it make you think that you're a bad parent.
Right.
You know, my autistic child, he's my second child. So, you know, you didn't want to say you're comparing him with the firstborn, but, you know, you read the child developmental books and you look at, okay, this isn't happening to the first one, but what's happening with the second one? Right. You know, and you go out in public, and he used to be a darter. I couldn't let go of his hand. Oh. Anyway, now he's cool and mellow, behave himself, but you go somewhere and he would just disappear, or he would just run, or you say, well, why are you jumping up and down? He wants to bounce on everything.
Yes.
And again, people will look at you and it's like, he get the face in the grocery, because I would take him everywhere.
All the time.
It's like, you know, why I can't behave himself, you know, your child can't behave himself. But it is a challenge for parents, you know, to feel comfortable to go into public spaces.
Yes.
And to not feel that the eye stares on you. And I remember, I think it was last year or early this year, we decided we're going to the logos together. Yes. You said, well, let's go as a group, because they can't stare at everybody at one time.
Right.
You know, but
makes sense.
It could be challenging for parents to have their children out there and not feel that level of judgment.
Yes. But how do we deal with that? How because it's not like you can put a sign on the t-shirt saying, I am autistic, please understand.
We print t-shirts.
What education?
We have t-shirts.
You have t-shirts? We have t-shirts. Autistic and proud.
Autistic and proud, exactly. Well, I think this is like a deep-rooted thing for us culturally.
Yes.
Specifically in the Caribbean. Just as you said, you'd see a child misbehave and you would automatically think the child rude.
Yeah, not trained.
There were some licks, parents not doing their work.
Yes.
You know, all of these kinds of things. You automatically think, well, they generalize and may think that the child is slow, and those kinds of things. Education.
Yeah.
Yes.
Education is key. For us, I know we would have started doing things like sensitivity sessions with different organizations and so on in the community to help try to curb that type of thinking with persons. A lot of us are in a situation where we have somebody that's autistic in our family and we may not have even realized that they're autistic. But when you start explaining to persons what the traits are and what the experience is, it's like this light bulb goes off in their mind that maybe
yes,
this might be something that I should look into. Of course, for us, I think as well, the lack of diagnosis is a problem. So persons go undiagnosed. There's situations where persons may also be in denial, or they may be embarrassed that this is their situation and their experience with the child. So we are trying to turn those things on the air and get persons more open and receptive to the information and the realities of what the experience is. And it doesn't mean it has to be a death sentence or the end of the world. You know, it's just learning how to maneuver the situation and making the best of it.
Yes, but even as you spoke, my mind just went to, how do you get prepared? Is it that before the baby is born, are there any any signs, or how do you prepare for an autistic child?
I could definitely share on that. I think my experience is converse to Ria's. I mean, Ria has 15 to 18 years in the game. My son is just 6. So finding out at 3, I'm just 3 years in. So I am now getting started. You know, I would have done everything, done all the things, the plans. You plan the birth date, you plan the celebration, you plan the future, you plan boy, girl, what sport, everything, you name it.
Almost career and who you're married to.
everything, the names, this, that, everything, all the anticipation. And for us, I realized around 7 months old is when we started seeing things. There was actually regression. Whether conveniently or inconveniently, around the age of 7 months old is when the COVID lockdown had started. So we had the opportunity to be isolated with this child for 2 years. And had the time to make all the observations. My child's father at the time, he's somebody that does a lot of research.
He's one of those.
He does a lot of research, you know, so he knows, you know, what to expect. This was my first experience having a child. My child who's autistic is my first child. And when I started noticing him not meeting the milestones or the regression, so around that 7 months old, he stopped babbling, he stopped waving. There was no eye contact. He wasn't responding to his name. He was twiddling with his fingers. All of these sorts of things. Get into, after a year, maybe around a year, 2 years old, it's the inexplicable crying, inexplicable laughing. And trying to figure out what's up.
This is different.
This is something,
This is strange. I mean, there's part of you that kind of is in denial that this is what's happening. But you, because we are so keen on educating ourselves, we were fortunate to be keen on educating ourselves. We were kind of prepared when it was confirmed. But even when you're prepared, you're not prepared. So there is the mourning period of, boy, the idea of what this child's life could have been completely goes out the door. For you. So you have to come to terms, still coming to terms with what his future looks like and what our future looks like.
And that's the stark reality.
That is the stark
that is the reality, because as you rightfully said, you had so many plans. A little bit more, you arrange with one of your friends and say, listen, you have a girl, we're going to bring these 2 children up and we're going to marry them off.
All that was missing.
Yes, of course.
That's all I was missing.
Wow, that is just the reality. And these are the realities that many times you don't hear.
Right.
We would hear about autism, but to get into the nitty-gritty as to how it really impacts your life, impacts your family, it's so many things, because now because now you're thinking, okay, when at this time this child should have been off to school.
Yes.
I now have to put special arrangements in place to facilitate what is happening here.
Yes.
Correct.
I remember a friend came up to me. I haven't seen her for many years, and she's like, "Hey, how is Aiden? He must be in SEA class by now." And I just burst out crying.
Oh my God.
You know, because yes, he would have been about 11, 12 at the time, but he didn't talk until he was 5. You know, he wasn't potty trained until he was around the same age. And, you know, moving slowly at the time, again, how much he's 18, soon to be 18, and it's like, okay, well, what's available, you know, schooling, daycare, certain things that you just, people seem closed to you.
Of course.
Because of the situation that you are in. And it is, as Valeene said, you have to mourn or go through the stages of grief.
Yes.
The anger, the sadness, the denial, all of that. When you do receive a diagnosis, and quickly as you can, or as supported as you can, because ultimately you have to raise this child.
Right.
And I remember, I think it's about a month ago, I said, my plan for my child is to make him independent and a good contributor to society.
Okay.
I'm not thinking about SEA, CXE, CSEC, none of those things.
This is the end result.
I want him to be independent, be able to go to the shop, sign his name, do these things, be independent, be able to manage himself, and to be a contributor to society.
Wow.
You understand? If anything else comes after, yes, we're still working on his reading, we're still working on everything else. But you have to, as a parent, get past the denial and all the, you'll grow out of that, man. Get past that and have the support that you need to be able to raise the child that you have in front of you.
Of course. Well, at this time, we are going to take our first short break. When we come back, we're going to find out exactly what Autism Tobago does and how you can be supported. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters, and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Do you need electrical and plumbing supplies from construction to finish? Then check out Boodoo's Enterprises Limited, Milford Road, Canaan, Tobago. Get LED bulbs and fixtures, septic tanks, water pumps, laminate flooring, Prescott power tools, and so much more. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. Call 280-2050 or 660-4970. Boodoo's Enterprises Limited. Hi, I am Dianne, host of Transforming Lives One at a Time, and I would like to introduce you to our brand new segment, Good Vibes, Good News. And this is where you have the opportunity to highlight your good news. You can send your 90 seconds video to our WhatsApp number 868-701-2099. That's 868-701-2099. Let's hear some of the good news that we never hear about. Good vibes, good news. Inspiring hope. Celebrating wins. Truly grateful. Welcome back. Today we are speaking about autism. Well, just before the break, we were speaking about so many things, but very, very relevant to the conversation today. So tell us a little bit about the NGO Autism Tobago and what it is that you do.
Right, so Autism Tobago, the group is non-governmental, of course. We're a charitable group, and they were formed in 2010. That was long before I joined. Okay. Right, they were around in 2010, and the founding members, they came together as parents, and they saw the need to create a support system for themselves because of the two special schools at the time, Happy Haven and School for the Deaf. We need something to support the parents of these children, and they came together. And even though they had those special schools, somehow there wasn't anything specific to persons with autism.
Okay.
So in the school, they had children with Down syndrome and so on, and many persons were shy away from dealing with autistic persons because of how varied and how wide, how puzzling the disorder is. But they came together to support themselves, the parents, and to begin a good work because they're still here.
Right, of course.
Right. I joined in 2014, and at the time, what they offered in terms of support and training for parents, that very useful information that was given to parents. And I was invited to a workshop because someone heard about my child, and they said, well, come out to this training session for parents and so on. And it's like, wow, unless you are in a community, you don't know other people exist. I'm an inter-race class, I don't know what's happening along that circuit, but just joining that community augured me well in terms of information to help me to raise aid and to support my family along the journey. And Autism Tobago, our mission is still to improve lives, to support parents, to partner with others, to ensure that support is given, and of course to build awareness. As much as we do awareness, it's still a good ways to go.
Yes, more ground
but
to
we
cover.
are thankful for the many lives that we have been touching over the years, and look forward to touching more.
Certainly. Well, tell us about some of the misconceptions and myths that you will usually hear persons speaking about as it relates to autism.
Well, one of the things for sure, as we even discussed as recently as last night, not all autistic persons are savants. Savants.
Okay.
So there's this idea that they all have this superpower.
Right.
Superpower.
Like Hulk.
Yeah.
The incredible Hulk.
Some special hidden talent that
Music for science.
for science, music, numbers. Yes, there are persons with that special affinity for dealing with those types of things, but it doesn't mean that it applies to each and every one of them.
Okay, so every child is different.
Every child is different. So, persons may hear that your child is autistic, and the next question is, so what's his special thing?
Yes.
Like, Mama, just trying to make it to bedtime today. Why are you asking that question? It is not a mental illness.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not a mental illness.
I'm glad you're clearing that up.
Yes, it is not. It is a neurological condition, but it is not a mental illness.
Okay.
All right? Yes. No, they won't just grow out of it. They will not just grow out of it. It is a lifelong condition. The traits may change, they may adapt, certain things may fall off, and they may pick up other traits, but it's not something that they just automatically grow out of. Mm-hmm. The meltdowns that you often witness in public is not the child being rude, or it's not poor parenting, and it's not misbehavior. Mm-hmm. It's a genuine struggle for this person dealing with their environment and regulating themselves. Right? Learning differently doesn't mean
can't learn.
Okay. So it doesn't mean that because a child learns differently that it's impossible for them to learn. I just want to add or segue a bit that while this is not a misconception, it's a consideration, that we'd like persons to keep in the back of their minds. The toll that having an autistic child in the family takes on the parents on
especially
the family, on the siblings, and even the impact that it has on relationships, marriages, friendships, is more than persons are aware of. You know, it is a very lonely experience as well. So, you know, while we are grateful for this group as well, we have kind of a family and a support system, but at times when you are home alone dealing in the midst of this thing, it could be a really lonely, challenging situation. And I think we really want persons to have a greater appreciation and understanding for what parents of autistic persons are going through and the kind of support and understanding that we need.
And it's usually said, who is in the kitchen will feel the heat.
Correct.
Yes, you know, that fear of, I saw on a status this morning, autistic moms pray that their child will be understood and that they will live to see 100. You know, because they're thinking about when you grow old, or if you pass away and your child, who take care of your child. It is a serious whirlwind in the mind, having to navigate that part of the life. And just being hopeful. There was a time when I didn't want to think about his birthday every year. You know, just 1 year of, okay, what else can he learn this year? What can he learn this year?
So it's a step by step.
Step by step.
You cannot rush this. And you cannot even anticipate what is to come for the next 2 hours. You just can't.
Exactly.
So that's why we need really persons, even within the family, persons need to be educated as to how, because it will be impacting them most of all, because you live there.
And sometimes that could be like pulling teeth. Because, you know, again, as you said, unless you are the one really experiencing it, the family might be around, but that is like fringe.
Of course.
A fringe experience. So sometimes you may try to explain, no, I need this thing done in this way at this time, etc., etc. And you're faced with the questions like, but why? Why? When we had this other child, we did this, that, or when I was small, or when I had y'all, I did this, that, and y'all are fine. Why do I have to do what you're saying?
So you have the added questions.
You have the added questions.
Not recognizing that you have to be extra meticulous with this child.
And it takes something out of you as well to hold your ground. To establish your boundaries and establish, this is what has to be done, this is for this child, this is how it benefits him, and it's my job to ensure that it is done the best way it can be for him.
Well, it actually brings me to, as we're talking about support, what kind of support do you look forward to as parents with an autistic child, including help from other family members, the community, and of course other stakeholders? Because how I look at it, all hands have to be on board.
Multidisciplinary, that is how the diagnosis for autism is done, right? Speech therapy, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, all these therapies have to come together for this child. And it's the same way that all the supports have to come in. And you're looking for support. I'm imagining, again, I told a friend, I was tired for 7 years. I was tired and sleep deprived for 7 years. And the supports that we're looking for, okay, let me start from in and go out in your family, right? As siblings or spouses or even grandmothers, aunts and uncles who will understand, okay, I can't just leave this child by anybody. Right? He used to unlock the door and walk away from our house, you know. He used to walk away. So as a Gary, you can't take a nap. I couldn't take a nap. So, okay, if you're napping, I have to stay awake. So we have a tag team in that small support. And they're going outwards. They have a school, they have a church, right? My church was very supportive. the ushers understood, okay, well, he just likes to walk around the back. Just leave him alone.
Yes, yes.
He's secure in the periphery.
Yes, of course.
Right? He's, you know, I was like, okay, well, we're greeting each other in Jesus' name. He didn't like to be touched. He didn't like to be eye contact.
Okay.
So they understood, you know, just touch him lightly or give him a small bounce. Eventually he'll warm up.
Right.
So that support or being able to understand, okay, well, we got to keep quiet today, or he can't be in this group here today.
Yes.
You know, and it's going wider to school.
Of course. Education again.
Education-wise. And it's like, I couldn't find a preschool for him, I would take him. Or I couldn't find a primary school, I would take him.
Yes.
You know, and you're looking for that, okay, well, who will understand? I had a parent who said, you know what, her child was lucky to go to mainstream school. She had to talk to each teacher
Yes.
that he would move up to. Because yes, this teacher might say, but I will take him, but the next one don't want him.
Exactly.
But he's in the same school.
Right.
So that kind of support and that kind of understanding
Yes.
from educators. We're not trained for this. I'm an educator.
Yeah.
I would never say I'm not trained for this because I'm thinking about my child.
Of course, of course.
You know, okay, well, what can I do to be compassionate?
Yes.
We might start there. So compassion, understanding,
Yes, of
that kind of
course.
thing you're looking for. And wider now, all the powers that be, right?
Yes.
It's hard to affect change from the bottom.
Correct.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Correct. And of course, we're going to talk about that a little
Right?
later.
So I'll touch on it slightly, but
Yes.
you think, again, who knows no? And unless somebody up there, higher up, may have a
yes.
personal experience with it, they will understand.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
The supports that we need from the clinics in the hospital, that
Yes.
all those things is a wide
Yes.
web of supports that is so necessary for parents. And if you don't get it someplace else, you will still feel the emptiness, you will still
Yes.
feel the gap if you're not getting it from any one of those circles.
Of course. Well, tell us about some of the collaborations that Autism Tobago would have with other stakeholders and what kind of activities you'll usually have annually.
Well, right now we are working on our visibility.
Okay.
I think that since I joined, what was that, like 2-3 years ago, we would have found out about it through the health center.
Right.
And we have been on a mission to make ourselves a bit more visible
Okay.
and get into the community more. So we've implemented events like our awareness fair, which takes place in the month of April. So actually for the month of April, we have an entire slate of activities that we do, including like online seminars, workshops. We have a Drive Blue motorcade as well.
Yes, yes.
And at the end of the year, we end off with our dinner. You know, we are looking to bring on stream more things along the lines of like survival skills training things for autistic persons. And of course, we could never get enough workshops. We can't get enough seminars. We can't get enough of those things for the parents and for the caregivers. We tend to partner with a lot of therapists who are part of actually the Autism Tobago group.
Right.
You know, so they tend to lend their services to us as well. Speech therapists, behavioral therapists, occupational therapists. There are certain companies that are on board with us that support us to execute these events.
Okay, yeah, because cost.
Yeah, because cost is,
Cost.
you know. So those are things that we do, that we try to execute during the year.
Right. So more activities.
More activities.
And I think at the end of the day, more activities is really you're trying to get a wider, catchment of persons to come on board,
a far-reaching
impact
as much as we can.
Yeah, we do sensitizations. Well, we focus a lot this year. We invited ourselves to like the banks, private entities, unit trusts, different places. We invited ourselves, or some invited us, as well as churches and PTAs.
Okay.
I do a lot of PTA meetings. We do churches and so on, and even in schools, trying our best to meet children, like pamphlets or whatever it is in the hospital, wherever we need to get it out there, because who know.
Of course, of course.
You know, and sometimes you would just not see it because you're not really realizing, okay, but this is something that I should be interested.
Yes.
You know, let's pick it up and read it. But everybody doesn't read.
Of
course. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook.
Yes, TikTok.
You know, well,
TikTok. Little videos. Little videos. Little videos with a message.
With a message,
get it out.
Exactly.
Yes,
you know? So we try our best to just, even to encourage our own parents to share your story, share.
Of course.
You know,
because sometimes we have a mentality, some persons would have that kind of mentality, it's me alone. Mm-hmm. I don't have the support, or sometimes I want to hide the child because of how you may be feeling. Mm-hmm. So I really want to say hats off to Autism Tobago for looking at the situation, recognizing, listen, we have to come together. We have to come together to be able to provide a level of support to others. And as we rightfully said, if you know, you know. In terms of the kind of support that is needed. Is there a need for persons who can provide services to autistics, like let's say special ed teachers, speech and occupational therapists, physiotherapists, developmental pediatricians and the likes? Or do we have these areas fully covered?
There is a need for sure. Well, in terms of our younger parents who have children who are younger and they are in the developmental clinic, and if it's, I remember when Aiden was in it, it's like once a month or every 6 months, or the speech therapist cycle will be every 3 weeks, or you know, and early intervention is needed, and consistent intervention is needed. So if the children are not getting, or the youths, they're not getting that constant speech therapy or occupational therapy that is needed for them to build the skills or to be able to cope with their certain challenges, it is a need, because the list is long. You hear parents say, the list is long to get into the clinic. You know, and then to get it privately, you know, to get it privately is costly.
Of course.
To get it is costly. So as an educator, I encourage my students. I say, you like children, you like medicine. I said, why not try developmental pediatrics? Why not try speech and language, pathology? Go try those things, because it is a viable career.
Of course.
It is needed, you know. And people might say, well, how you have so much more autistic people around now? It may not necessarily be that, as Valeene said earlier, the fact that people being undiagnosed. No, it's just better to be, better diagnosis, instruments and so on.
Right.
And people are be more aware. So it's just a matter of being more aware, and the diagnosis, is getting better and clearer to be diagnosed. So there's more, but it's definitely needed.
Of course. So what I'm hearing is that there is a lot more ground to cover as it relates to the expertise being offered to autistics, and more persons should in fact pursue this area. Yes. Well, at this time, we're going to take another short break and we'll be right back. Today, we are discussing autism. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Do you need electrical and plumbing supplies from construction to finish? Then check out Voodoo's Enterprises Limited, Milford Road, Canaan, Tobago. Get LED bulbs and fixtures, septic tanks, water pumps, laminate flooring, press cut power tools, and so much more. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. Call 280-2050 or 660-4970. Voodoo's Enterprises Limited. Welcome back to the program, Transforming Lives One at a Time. Today we are discussing autism, and I'm here with two representatives from Autism Tobago, the Vice Chair and the Chair. Okay, so let's continue the conversation. I want us to talk about spreading awareness about autism and generally educating the public on the issue, what to look for, what the whole 9 yards.
Well, I think for us, the approach is getting in as early as possible. We have set our sights on trying to spread the message and get the awareness going from as early as any institution would have us,
Right.
to speak to children. We had an experience this year or last year where we actually went to a high school to speak to a class at Goodwood High School. And they were amazingly receptive. And I think I remember telling Rhea, I said, we need to do this more
of
often.
it, yes.
Because let's be honest, sometimes it's easier to talk to the children than it is to adults.
True, true.
Right? Knock on no one. But it's a long run benefit for sure, and I think it leads to us having more societal benefit.
Okay.
So a kinder society, once they get that information from early and it grows with them and they bounce it off of each other and they feed into each other. I know it sounds a bit pie in the sky and very idealistic, but that idea of building the society in that way from as early as we can definitely would benefit us in the long run, and persons with autism and even other challenges,
of course,
would definitely benefit from that experience in society.
And even as it relates to education, I think an area that we don't really kind of zero in on is as the information is being disseminated to persons start to recognize how much more caring they should be.
Yes.
To persons who are dealing with issues like this. Because sometimes we need to empathize with persons. If I were in this position, or if I had a brother in this position, how would I have wanted others to treat them? And these are the areas that we need to, so even as you continue going out to the schools, you need to bring in some of these areas. If it were your brother, or if it were, kind of have them starting to think deep, as in like, wow, it's true, I would have wanted this.
And I like to make the joke that when I was younger, maybe teenager into early 20s, way before becoming a parent, and you would see children and be like, ew. I don't want to deal with that. And you have this situation kind of thrust upon you. And you are forced to change the entire outlook on your life and your entire approach.
Because you're now in it.
Because you're in it, you're in the trenches.
You're now in it. So we are just weighing on the spreading the awareness.
Awareness is important. But I always say I like to move from awareness to action. So as much as we go and we talk and we spread and we put posters, we put out flyers, we do talks, we have workshops, you can be aware that your foot is broken, but if you don't do anything about it, you walk around with a limp with a broken foot. And people want to know, why I walk around with this foot? Yeah, I'm aware. But action must follow awareness. So as much as we spread the word, as much as we lobby for support, we want people to join. Join the journey, join with the action. Put your money where your mouth is.
That's right.
Put your time where volunteer, because we started some new volunteers. We have a new arm of our group where we have persons just volunteer. They don't have any siblings, they don't have anybody with autism directly, but they're willing to assist.
Or even retarees. Have some time on their hands, and it's like, okay, I could do something one day for the week.
2 hours. Because we meet once a month at Happy Haven School, every first Saturday at 4 p.m. At Happy Haven School. And sometimes parents say, we can't come because we have to bring the child.
Of course.
You could play in the park, you could do, we accept them, you could gallivant in the meeting. We know what kind of children come into the meeting. But just that, getting it out there,
Yes.
but we want people to move to action.
Yes, definitely. And I think that is very profound. Well, let's talk about this, and I know this is a major area. What kind of policies do you think need to be implemented on the part of policymakers that would ensure that autistics are adequately catered to?
You're using some strong words.
Yes. I'm intentional.
And yes, you're intentional, because as much as we sit and we discuss and we have our plans as people, as a group, that support from the policymakers and the powers that be is very important. And that would ensure it is strong. But we know of groups that, not just autistics, because there is no holistic policy really in Trinidad and Tobago that is for persons with disabilities, much less for autistics, persons with Down syndromes, persons with the varied amount of disabilities that we have, to be dealing with. And you have the Education Act will say, okay, well, you cater for a child with special needs.
Right.
You will see the term special needs. And teaching a child with autism versus teaching a child with a hearing issue or a visual issue.
Yeah.
You can see what kind you can see where we'll end up with trying to cater specifically for a child with autism. And my own experience teaching a child with autism, you have to teach them right. You have to teach them straight. You can't unteach them something you've shown them. Because they get it and they run with it. So if you're creating a policy for a person with autism, remember it's a spectrum.
Yes.
It might still end up being generalized because of the puzzling nature of the disorder.
Yes.
In Trinidad and Tobago, in terms of having the Education Act saying you can't discriminate against people coming to school.
Right.
They may not specifically say you can't discriminate against a person with autism.
Yes.
So it has to start way on top.
Right.
And even as, I think as the Down Syndrome Family Network, can't remember his name right now, but they are always lobbying and pushing for their persons with Down syndromes to get into school because they can't learn. And it is a fight. And even as we might try in a little corner for persons with autism, persons with Down syndrome.
Yes.
I would really love to see if all these groups could just come together, make one loud voice.
Yes. Unity.
Make one loud voice, because as much as we are banging on the doors separately,
right.
You would need to have policymakers see us, hey, we're over here.
Of course.
We need that loud voice for all these communities, all these NGOs coming together, because we have the Autistic Society of Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
In Trinidad, we are Autism Tobago.
Yes.
In Tobago alone. So I think it can start with these groups coming together, as much as doing policy, making suggestions,
of course,
writing papers or
consulting,
because there are many times you get emails as groups. Come and sit into this. We had that consultancy session in the library. Come and sit into a session. Once I am able to go, I will go and I'll put my 10 cents or put in my voice in it.
Where do
these things go?
Where does it end up?
Where does it end up? In a drawer somewhere? I don't know.
In a file, in some cabinet, and we just put it aside.
And that's always the question.
Unless there is something higher up that says, okay, if this is something that is put in place for education by this government, it was good then, why change it now?
Okay.
Or why just throw everything out and try to change over something? I think we keep back ourselves by always trying to change something from a previous.
Right, yes.
And then
building on it.
You walk forward and you walk back.
Right.
So I'm looking to see a holistic policy.
Yes.
For persons with special needs, and to be able to, if for special needs, because we can't say fight about autistic people.
Yes, of course.
Then we leave out everybody else, because there is none for special needs, much less for persons with autism. So even if my school decides this is our policy, if we receive children with autism, you know, you could start there.
Yes.
And that's where the compassion will start. If a school
Of course.
decides, you know what, we're not going to refuse person with autism, we're going to train our staff, or we're going to do something.
Yes, yes.
You know, we're going to bring in someone. But on top, they say they're signing off on goals.
Yes.
Sustainable goals. What are we going to do now?
Well, maybe because I'm thinking, you're talking and I'm feeling the passion, I'm hearing your heart. We need attention in this area. We need attention. I mean, lots of persons are clamoring for attention. They want this, they want that, but you have got to know exactly what you want. So if it is, in moving forward, if it is that all these organizations can really, as you rightfully said, come together and have one voice. Yes, you are catering to Down syndrome, you are catering to autism, you are catering to, but if you come, because it's like one person coming and knocking at my door, somebody come and knock at my door, okay, hi. But when you have about 12, 15, 20 different persons come knocking, it is more powerful, it gets my attention, and it's like, wow. It really means that there is something very, very critical that we need to address here. Yeah. And unfortunately, we say that if the persons on top, if they don't have someone in their family that they could actually get to feel and know exactly the impact it has on parents and families, many times they do nothing. So I'm saying, you have been knocking, knock more. Knock louder.
I think part of it too, unfortunately for us, we are very heavily impacted by the politics of things.
Yeah.
And I said to somebody very recently, if things aren't politically sexy,
right,
it gets swept under the rug. It gets overlooked. And I don't think that, well, as you said, you know, you hit the nail on the head when you said it just now, and when Ria mentioned it earlier, unless a policymaker is directly impacted by this thing, it's an uphill battle. It's like speaking to a brick wall. You know, they'll listen to you, and then, as you say, they pack away the thing in the drawer until the next season, and
yes, but I want to encourage you not to give up.
Of course not, of course
And
not.
of course, with the reach this program has, we are getting the word out. So we know we are calling on the private sector, we are calling on the retirees, we are calling on the government of the day, we are calling all and sundry, because we need to ensure that the right policies are in place to ensure that our children, and we have to go children across the board. So we can't just say these children. No, we cannot. No, we cannot do that. If it is that we are protecting our children, we are protecting all our children. If it is that we are catering, and I'm looking directly into the camera, and anytime I have to make a big point, into the camera. If it is that we are protecting our children, we are protecting all our children, and we are providing whatever is needed for the proper developmental, everything the child needs to properly develop. That is what we want, and that is what Autism Tobago is here about today. And they're making a plea. Please, all those folders that you have in the cupboards and stuff, take it out, dust them out, and look again. Call these NGOs and have a conversation. Have a conversation so we can be able to make more impact. Well, as we begin to wind up the program, I want to give you, Ria and Valeene, an opportunity to probably highlight an area that we did not discuss, or maybe to reiterate something that was said on the program earlier.
Well, my memory is shorter than Ria, so let me go. Let me go. I actually want to hinge off of something you just said. So, you know, not that we are just taking care of children only, but our special needs persons in general.
Right.
Special needs does not just impact children.
True.
What we see and what I've seen starting this autism journey is that once the child is out of that primary school age range,
Nothing is in
there's,
place.
There's nothing in place.
Okay.
There's almost nothing in place. The programs start dwindling. Worse yet when they get to adulthood.
Okay.
So that's something that we definitely need to work on as well. Whether it's, I mean, we tend to think small.
Yeah.
I call it small, but
Yes.
you know, it's more our traditional thinking about skills training and craft. There are things now like tech. Persons who are special needs or autistic are amazing at technology, most of
Yes.
them, amazing at art. We need to have a wider scope of how we envision how these persons can progress and impact society and the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes, we are.
Definitely. Dianne, thank you so much for the opportunity. And it is always a pleasure to be able to share not only my story, but to encourage others that, you know, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
It's not, it might feel that way for a while, but it's not a death sentence.
Yes. There is life beyond.
There's life. And, you know, you hear, challenge means opportunity. I read that somewhere. They said challenge means opportunity. You know, and as Valeene said, I'm in this a long time now, but I didn't feel this way.
Yes. Back then.
Where I'm at.
Where she's at. You know, and it is always an opportunity for me to encourage others.
Right.
Don't hide up your children on
Yes.
Don't think that they can't contribute. Don't think that they can't be trained.
Right.
Because of their many challenges. When we were in well-behaved boy, I said, because I trained him, even though he couldn't talk, he understood and could still make mistakes.
Yes.
I still trained him to know, well, this could be done now, this could be done after. You can still train them, you can still interact. You can so it's not for the parents to give up.
Right.
I'm encouraging parents, you are your child's speech therapist. You are your... I am a trained.
Right.
You are your child occupational therapist. Don't sit down and say, well, it's only this week or 3 weeks.
Yes, they don't have this.
I had to learn a lot of things to be able to service my child. You know, and when I say, what's good for the sick, better for the well? His older brother benefited. He's learned as well. So parents, don't give up. You learn all you have to learn. Throw away what you have to throw away. Pick up what you have to pick up. Sharpen what you have to sharpen. To let your family stay together, to let your child thrive.
Yes.
And of course, to just let this journey be not only about the rocks and the uphill, but about the view.
Yes.
It's a good view, but it's an arduous journey.
It is. Well, I like what you said. It is not a death sentence, because sometimes you would think you receive a diagnosis and it's like, well, this is the end of my life. This is the end of I'm packing up. I'm giving up. You can't afford to give up. And even so more as parents, mothers and fathers and aunties and uncles and even close friends, you just can't afford to give up. You just have to continue giving that kind of support to the parents, because they need it. Sometimes they need a break and they can't take a break because of the situation.
Yes. Mothers and fathers.
Mothers and fathers. Yes, I did say mothers and fathers. I did say that. Well, let me take the opportunity now to thank you so very much for coming in today. The chairman of Autism Tobago, Valeene Salino Canaan. Let me ensure I get the name correct. And of course, the vice chairman, Paria. And of course, she is my classmate, for those of you who don't know. Oh, yes. So I want to wish you and Autism Tobago all the best in your future endeavors. I am really hoping that you will continue that kind of collaboration, so that at the end of the day, you will get the policy makers to make the right policies to ensure that all our autistics are well catered to.
Yes.
All right, so all the best in your future endeavors, and thank you again for working so tirelessly, because sometimes persons would see you and they would see see you behind the scenes and not really recognizing what a push it takes apart from your personal things to do, and you are now working along with this team to ensure that you provide that kind of support for others. I want to say hats off to you and continue to do the good work. Well, viewers, this is how we wrap things up for today. Today we were talking about autism, and I tell you, we really cleared up a lot of misconceptions and we had a lot of information on the topic. I am your host, Dianne, of course, always happy to be with you. You know, I'm always here with you. The program is aired every Saturday at 5:30 in the p.m. You can also check us out on our social media platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and of course, Facebook. If you have a topic you would like us to discuss, feel free to send us a message and we will try our very best to accommodate that topic. All right, as has become customary, I leave you with the definition of transformation, which is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our fullest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time.